Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new episode of Eve Echoes. Tonight on the show we are going to be finishing up the player structures tutorial series, and well, the remaining item that was on our to-do list was the Corporation Citadel. We've already showcased the capsule outpost, how to build it, how to deploy it, how to fit and manage it, and of course we also talked about the reinforcements that are available for both Capsule Outpost and the Corporation Citadel. But what is exactly the Corporation Citadel? Well, plain and simple, it's an upgrade from the Capsule Outpost, which can only be managed by one pilot. Can only be deployed by one pilot, and the Capsule Outpost is owned by one single pilot. Well, things change for the Corporation Outpost. Basically, the Corporation Citadel offers the ability of being managed by an entire corporation. Not only does it cost more to operate, but it also costs a lot to manufacture, and we'll soon get to that in a moment. First of all, you should answer yourself some basic questions regarding why should you launch a Corporation Citadel. Well, right off the bat, the Corporation Citadel offers some specific bonuses in material efficiency and in reverse engineering, and of course I think also in terms of refining, but I'm not so sure. I think only 2 bonuses were promised with the launch of the Corporation Citadel when that happened, I think a few months ago, with the introduction of sovereignty. And yes, sovereignty, because the purpose of the Corporation Citadel is basically to plant the flag on the map, meaning the Corporation Citadel is launched as per corporation, and it claims that part of space where it is launched, where it is anchored, and in which it will survive, hopefully. No puns intended. So, if you really want to be on the map, and of course if you really want to benefit from those bonuses, be wary, because once you start popping up on the map, the era of peace and tranquility will go away slowly, because other players will be seeing the sovereignty claim in space on the map, and basically will just come by and say hello from time to time. Now, it could be small gangs of people just wanting to find some fun with the people that have been claiming sovereignty in there, or just other people wanting that space for their own, or they just consider you not being there their main objective. So they're going to evict you, and to do that they'll basically need to tear your Corporation Citadel down. And of course the same rules for the reinforcement timers apply. There's a reinforcement timer between shield and armor, and there's a reinforcement timer between armor and hull, and once those go away and basically the enemy manages to push down the structure to 0, the Citadel goes pow. But enough of that. Let's see how much it takes to build one. Well, it's plain and simple. If you take a look at the blueprint, basically we can click on the blueprint and select the use blueprint for the Corporation Outpost. By the way, the blueprint also costs a gazillion. No, I'm just exaggerating. It costs a lot. Something that you by yourself as a pilot cannot afford. This should be a corporation effort, meaning a lot of players working together to bring this up. So it's not meant for just one player. I don't know, maybe you just like running around with 100 accounts. Who am I to judge? So basically, it costs around 15 components and 2.5 billion over the course of 5 days. This is how much it will take to bake a Corporation Citadel. And inside the components, we can see a detailed list of every component, and of course, the amount of that component required to build one such structure. Now, we're just going to take a look at, I think it's the same that we used to observe in terms of the Capsule Outpost. We're basically going to take a look at the structure construction blueprint, and basically it requires any given construction part blueprint for any corporation or Capsule Outpost, It's going to take like planetary materials and minerals. Minerals you can mine, planetary materials you can gather up from planets. But it's going to take a lot. Now consider these numbers right here, and imagine you have to build around 24 of these parts. And each part to build costs 20 million plus all the resources that you see here. So added the cost, it will take you to a very high cost in just in building it. So maybe you would want to call on someone who is actually building these on a daily basis, or at least on a weekly basis. Yeah, there's some corporations and alliances that are industry focused. You should get in touch with either of those. They'll be able to provide you with one Corporation Citadel, I don't know, for some extra services. You might get it at a discount, or if you really want to get it that fast and don't care about ISK, you can just go to Gita on the market and buy one from there. Although they're pretty scarce because people just build them and deploy them for themselves. So once you build all those parts, then you go in building the Corporation Outpost, which again, remember, it will take around 2.5 billion, it'll take around 5 days to build, plus all the construction parts that are needed. Again, this is not something for someone, just one, to build by himself. Let's take a look at the Corporation Outpost information. Aside from the information of fuel consumption and anchoring preparation time, we'll get some information. There was some information that is actually missing from the Capsuleer Outpost, which would have been nice to be present there as well. So we've got the anchor and permissions. So basically these are 5 tutorial panels that will give you an understanding of what exactly to expect. So in terms of anchoring process, basically when you launch it, it's going to be vulnerable for 15 minutes as it will be in a preparation state. Then it will turn to anchoring state, which will make the Citadel invulnerable for 24 hours until it is being constructed. You know, like those shiny lasers doing the thing. Yeah, that's that. And afterwards it will go into the repair state. Basically, once the Corporation Citadel has been launched and anchored, it will need 15 minutes in order to go online fully. And during that time can be destroyed very quickly because it only has the structure, HP, and if somebody just comes along and starts shooting it, it can basically take it down immediately because there will be no reinforcement timer. We go into the About services. Now, because the Corporation Citadel does not have a fitting panel like the Capsuleer Outpost, basically it provides all the necessary industry and whatever it has to do, like the cloning facility and the hangars. Yep, you heard that right. It got hangars, which the Capsuleer Outpost does not have. And you can also rent offices, you can configure that. We'll take a look at the configuration menu in a jiffy. But basically it provides all these functions for industry, for reprocessing, reverse engineering, manufacturing, and of course it all ties down to the fuel consumption, because every service is not like in the Capsuleer Outpost that you can turn off something. No, everything is running, it's up online, and basically eats up the fuel. We go into the combat and property rules, we go into the repair state, duration 15-minute pauses if attacked. So once, I don't know, the shield, the armor, it was nicked, it was chipped away, it will enter a 15 minutes cooldown. If the attack persists, well, the timer just gets reset and will not be able to complete repairs. Only if you manage to fend off the attackers, then the Citadel will basically enter the repair state, continue with the repair state. Once the 15 minutes are lapsed, basically your Corporation Citadel is back up and running into full strength. So after being repaired, just as the panel states, the shield will be restored and the armor structure will be set to maximum. There's two states in which a Corporation Citadel has. Basically, it's vulnerable, so it can be attacked, or it's a normal state in which the Capsuleer Outpost can be attacked, while an outpost is in normal state. You can change its reinforcement time, permissions, and anchor, etc. And also, the Capsuleer Outposts operate in normal state most of the time. This is some shitty description, because this should be referring to the Corporation Citadel, not the Capsuleer Outpost. So basically the panel states that it can be repaired, it can be attacked, and when you can repair it, when you can attack it, and when it goes into reinforcement. Basically reinforced, we've got the structure damage order, shield depleted, armor reinforcement, armor depleted, hull reinforcements, and hull depleted, structure destroyed is the same path that we explained with the capsule outpost. Finally, this information is present on the Citadel, and you should pretty much understand how it works. So the armor hardening, it takes 24 hours, basically after shield was lowered to 0. This is the first stage, the first reinforcement timer, and after that it turns into hull reinforcement, which has a minimum duration of 48 hours, at which the invulnerability is removed once the exit time is reached. The exit time is something configurable in the Corporation Citadel. So that's pretty much it, what you need to understand about the Corporation Citadel. How do you deploy it? Well, basically you just select it and put it inside a hauler, and then you basically just move the hauler and go into space and place it just like a capsule outpost. I'm going to show you immediately. It's going to take just a few seconds of your time. So because I'm near already a structure, I cannot deploy it right here, but we're going to try anyways because it's okay to see how it behaves. So we already have this checklist that we need to abide whenever we launch a structure and try to anchor it. So there's already a Corporation Citadel in the system, cannot anchor a new one. That is correct, we already have one. Must be over 5,000 kilometers away from any existing structures. Incorrect. We're not away of any structure. Must be within 3 AU of any planet. That's correct, that we have. Distance required between structure and planet warping point must be at least 50 kilometers away. So that we have. No overlay with other collidable objects. That we do not have. And number of corporation stations. We can deploy 5 such structures across New Eden. And that's basically, I don't know if this is linked with any skill, but that's pretty much the highest number that you can basically place down as a corporation. 5 corporation citadels. So how do you manage? Once you place that, basically it will enter the vulnerability of 15 minutes being placed, and then it will enter in anchoring mode. So once this is online, we basically already have a Corporation Citadel, so we don't waste anyone's time just showing some time lapse of some weird shit. So we're going to go into manage. So this is basically the managing interface that only a couple of people can do that based on specific corporation roles. And again, as I mentioned, the Corporation Citadel can be managed by an entire corporation, not just one person. So we have the facility status and we have the hull reinforcement. Basically, if we click this, we will be able to see the fuel consumption. We can turn it off. We can put the station into offline if we don't have, or at least if we want to save on some fuel. But please be aware, if you do that, you'll basically be completely vulnerable. And if anyone comes by and sees your Citadel being offline, that's easy prey. So please consider it whenever you will try to do this, and please don't scroll here because you might accidentally touch it and put it to off, and everyone will go crazy. You can also head over to the fuel tank and deposit the fuel inside the fuel tank. You can also extract it at any given point, but the information panel does say that you should prepare fuel for at least 3 days to activate fuel consumption. Otherwise, turning the fuel consumption to on and not having at least 3 days worth of fuel will fail, and you will not be able to activate the fuel consumption. Therefore, Citadel will remain offline. Next item on the management panel is basically the hull reinforcement, which allows you to set, just like the case of Capsule Outpost, the specific hour at which the Citadel will exit the reinforcement, the hull reinforcement, the last one, the one between armor and hull. Basically, if someone attacks you and manage to tear down the shield and tear down the armor, the shield has only 24 hours of available reinforcement, meaning it will be invulnerable for 24 hours from the time the reinforcement was initiated, meaning the shield was dropped to 0. And once the armor goes pop, it will enter the second reinforcement, basically an invulnerability timer, and the timer will end exactly when this thing right here is specified. So if you specify Tuesday at 12 at noon, regardless of when your opponent will tear down the armor and reduce it to 0, basically entering structure mode, the timer will display the exact amount of time left until this exact hour and day is reached. Yeah, so that's pretty much it on the facility status. And then we go to the permission settings, and basically on dock you can set up the same permissions as you could have set for the capsuling outpost to allow or deny docking procedures for various entities, based on standings, of course. Then we go into the basic. Also, the docking service handles docking, assembling ships, and using the inventory. And the other permission type is the basic, which basically allows to set the structure as base. So if somebody dies, it can respawn here. And repair of ships inside the infrastructure maintenance fee will be paid to workers who have worked on the repairs. I don't know if this fee will basically be sent out to the corporation owning the Citadel as a corporate donation, or it will just go into thin air, meaning it's a ISK sink. The next two items regarding permissions is the industry, which allows you to manufacture, reverse engineer, reprocess minerals. So you can switch permissions to specific standing entities to use the industry service. And of course we've got the office, which just allows you to set an office rent setting and allows other entities to dock up and basically set them up themselves with an office inside your Corporation Citadel. So that's pretty much it on the Corporation Citadel. I think we've covered them all. And we've got permissions, we've got how to deploy, how to build, we also talked about reinforcements and how they work, and we've also talked about why you should deploy it, or more specifically, why you shouldn't deploy. Only deploy this if you are 100% that your corporation / alliance can defend this structure. If you just deploy being a 5-man corp and you manage to, I don't know, get your hands on some weird looking gold and you manage to get 12 billion SK and you decided to, oh, let's just put this in nullsec, it'll be fun, they said. No, it will not be fun. It will be fun for the people attacking your citadel, tearing it down, removing it from existence. Probably not so fun for you. By the way, this is not me discouraging you to basically explore the game, but it's me encouraging you not being stupid and throwing away a lot of ISK when, I don't know, you could put that to good use. You could buy a rattlesnake with this money. So again, only drop a Corporation Citadel if you are 100% you can at least deploy a support force in case it gets attacked. Otherwise, it's just ISK thrown out the window. So don't forget about our community question of the week giveaway. We'll be revealing 2 lucky winners this week, later on, probably Wednesday, Thursday or Friday, depends when I have time to film the next episode in Eve Echoes. In order to participate and get a shot at winning one of the 2 Omega Combat clones that are up for grabs in the giveaway, be sure to answer this question in the comment section. What do we do with low-tier frigates? In my opinion, they're pretty much out of date, poorly designed. I don't know, I have no idea why they went with this, but basically everyone that goes to cruises basically just ignoring destroyers and frigates altogether. Yeah, some of the frigates are still good, like the Type 2 variants and the advanced frigates, of course, but we're not talking about those. We're talking about the low-tier frigates, you know, like the Condor, like the Rifter, like the Incursus. These were staple ships in EVE Online, and any player that, I don't know, just decides to go to EVE Echoes, if he sees those abominations in the tech tree, will definitely be scared off by the design approaches that were taken with this game. In my opinion, Low tier frigs should also have a role. Of course, you can still fly them in high numbers and do crazy amount of shit, but there's so many ships that are better than the low tier frigates, and in my opinion, they should receive some love either through balance or through other method. Just, I don't know, put some more keywords in there, give it some more roles, have it that people can still feel the need to use them. Right now, no one uses them. They're completely forgotten and have fallen to oblivion. That's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. A very big shout out to my channel supporters, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.